ultimate goal of RM3 is to be able to further enable NASA's exploration program so that we can help satellites to live longer, go farther, and be able to facilitate the human exploration of space. RM3 is the third, obviously, of 3 payloads that have been developed by the Satellite Servicing Projects Division at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. So RM3 is designed to be the culmination of that effort, where we're going to take everything that we learned from RM1 and RM2 and do an end-to-end cryogenic transfer. The whole goal of RM3 is to help further exploration and help be able to get NASA to Mars and beyond.
The goal of JEDI is really fairly simple. It's to use laser beams to measure how tall trees are globally. And Brian and I have been trying for over 20 years to get this technology into space. One of the big questions we have right now is, what is this balance between deforestation that's pumping CO2 into the atmosphere and then subsequent regrowth by these young, rapidly regrowing trees that pull the carbon out of the atmosphere?
As Ralph mentioned, JEDI is a laser altimeter, which is an active optical sensor technology normally for measuring surface topography, but JEDI takes it a little bit further by capturing that entire waveform structure, the shape of that reflected pulse that represents the height of the canopy and the internal structure, as Ralph mentioned.
And this information is useful not just for carbon modeling, but also for biodiversity and habitat quality. Because as you have more vertical diversity in forests, you create more niches for species. And so by having this information, we'll be able to attack a lot of problems.
So this project is our first project. It's launching to the space station, and it's developing a drug-eluting wound dressing to help treat patients, whether they're civilians or combat-injured soldiers, and reduce the overall cost burden of the effects of sepsis. And so we are conducting 2 separate experiments aboard station. One is to look at the gel structure and how the gel structure changes, whether it's formed on Earth or on station. We're also looking at how the drug release profile of these materials changes on Earth or on station. The purpose of loading up the gels for a wound dressing is to directly release it to the wound site, so that you can increase the concentration of the drug that's being released to that wound site and reduce the systemic effects of that drug overall.
We are developing a protein-based retinal implant to restore vision to the millions of patients that are blinded by macular degeneration and retinitis pigmentosa. So age-related macular degeneration, it affects about 30 million people worldwide. This disease works by affecting the central part of your vision first, and then over time that'll start to expand until a patient is completely blind. So Lambda Vision has developed a small, flexible, protein-based retinal implant, and so our implant is placed in the back of the eye through a procedure that is very similar to a retinal detachment procedure.
Within the Cube Lab that's shown here is a manufacturing apparatus that sort of mimics our layer-by-layer process, but in a very different way than how we implement it on Earth. So ideally, we're going to be exploiting the effects of microgravity, and this would help us lead to more homogeneous films, more uniform layers, and that's the ultimate goal, right, is to accelerate our path to market and help these patients that are blinded by these retinal degenerative diseases.
Hi, my name is Adia Boloa, and I'm the Team Rocket finalist. I decided to go with testing UV-activated dental glue and see how that would react in microgravity. And that would be helpful for space trips because they've done it before, and the paste that they use actually fell out the next day. And here's an actual diagram of the apparatus, and what's going to happen is they actually have real teeth that they're putting on the bottom of it, and they're going to kind of re-simulate filling a cavity and using the UV dental glue and see if it will stick better than the normal dental paste.
I'm Serena Kopf. I'm a first year at Grinnell College, and I represent the Groot side of the challenge. So my project is looking into aeroponics. Aeroponics is the process of replacing traditional irrigation systems with mist in order to grow plants. On Earth, this system uses 98% less water, 60% less fertilizer, and no pesticides. But despite this efficacy on Earth, no one's ever tried to grow plants in space before like this. So from this experiment, we're going to collect data, obviously, and this will be in the form of photographic data and readings on temperature, humidity, and carbon dioxide. We're going to analyze that data with an eye for the future, because this possibly could have an impact on the future of agriculture in microgravity.